Welcome to a documentary by J. Stokes of NAU in Asia, 2012. It was a cold spring day in Flagstaff when Dr. Charles and Dr. Longerbeam entered my classroom and handed out this flyer. By seeing their enthusiasm and excitement for the trip, I knew I had to go. This short-term study abroad experience focused on the global context of higher education, specifically within student affairs. We did that by visiting universities, talking with administrators and students in 5 different cities across Asia. The trip was also unique because the participants were only graduate students and faculty. Before I knew it, we were on our way. We boarded the 747 and prepared for the 15-hour flight to Hong Kong. Our first major stop was at the Hong Kong Bureau of Education, where we learned a little bit more about the structure of education in Hong Kong. We compared it to that of the United Kingdom as well as the United States, and it gave us a great foundation for the other universities that we would visit throughout the trip. After the presentation, we began to explore, and like all good explorations, we found food. We learned how to pay with Hong Kong money, and afterwards we checked out the view of Hong Kong from the top of Victoria's Peak. In Hong Kong and many other places around the world, English is becoming more popular, but sometimes the translation comes off a little rude. After getting in the correct lane, we made our way to the Big Buddha, a famous and historical site in Hong Kong. Hello. Here we are at the 360-degree landmark direction thing. There's the Big Buddha. Statue of Liberty is 12,968 kilometers from here. Cape of Good Hope is 11,881 kilometers from here. Sydney Opera House is 7,381 kilometers from here in that direction. People's Republic of China Great Wall is 1,972 kilometers that way, and we're going there in the next couple days. And the United Kingdom Big Ben is 9,632 kilometers in that direction. And we just saw the giant Buddha, and it was fantastic. Glad we made this trip. Hong Kong, Asia, 2012, NAU, awesome. To contrast our serene and spiritual experience at the Big Buddha, we decided to go shopping at one of the famous markets in Hong Kong. Stalls and stalls of designer goods lined the street alleys for blocks. We started the next day off right with a little international cuisine for breakfast. We departed the Hong Kong Baptist University International House to make our way to the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. What if we only had chopsticks and soup spoons at the hotspot? A few hours in the airport is a perfect time to pull out that laptop and say hello to the folks back home. They wish they were here when we saw the view from the plane of Hong Kong as we headed to Beijing. Our hotel in Beijing felt authentic and traditional as the koi and turtles swam around the pond in the courtyard. Peking University has quite the spectacular campus with a lake and giant classic-looking water tower. It was beautiful despite the haze from the pollution that hung in the air. And after our university visit, we headed to lunch. We found the historical urban landscape in Beijing to be interesting, active, but congested. It was busy and lively. Of course, we had to do some shopping at the most popular antique market in China, where some of us found good deals and others not so much. We made our way to the Temple of Heaven, where we had an excellent tour by some local students. It's a popular place for tourists, locals, and people getting married. The food, as usual, was great, but some of us were a little surprised when we entered the bathroom. The shopping continued as we made our way to the Great Wall of China. We took a ski lift to the top where you can begin your hike down this ancient and historic site. It was breathtaking and something I will never forget. Something else I will never forget was the ride back down.
We're on our way down from the Great Wall of China. We're zipping down. Slow down, slow down. Reduce speed, reduce speed. I'm on a toboggan. There's the sky rail thing. No stopping, no stopping. Here we go. I'm going at least 100 miles an hour. At least 100 miles an hour.
As we got back to the city, we were, of course, hungry again. So tonight, we decided to go to experience the famous Peking duck. As we got ready to head to Seoul, South Korea, the Beijing airport gave us a good perspective on how far away we were from home, showing a 12-hour time difference from Beijing to New York. After being in Beijing, where you can't drink the tap water, it was nice to see purified water in the Seoul, South Korea airport. And of course, when we got to our hotel, we decided to check in with friends back home and maybe take a nap. And by the way, if you're planning on getting a car in Seoul, South Korea, you have the color options of gray, white, and black. As counseling students, we were excited to see that Yonsei University had a counseling center, but we also wondered how the cultural aspects affected the counseling experience for students. In Asia, there's traditionally a much higher face value that comes along in the culture, as well as a high context, and this could impact the counseling experience in ways that might require special training in the United States. And when we come back and work with students from other cultures, especially Asia, we need to be mindful that these students have a different expectation of what communication is like in a counseling situation and what self-disclosure is like. Sometimes things that we think are comfortable might be way over the edge for them. And of course, we were excited for food after our presentations at Yonsei University. We picked the food, the restaurant, based on wax sculptures outside the doors. And you never know what you'll find when you turn a corner in Seoul. Each Buddha represents a different time, from the left to the right, past, present, and future Buddhas. And this is one of the few temples in Seoul that allows you to take photographs inside. And each one of these little hanging balls is a name and a prayer for people for Buddha's birthday, which was recently. And you can pay money and you can get a little thing, and it hangs from one of these trees. The black tree is here, and the white tree is here. And we're having a great time in Seoul on our day of tours with our group. And the monks are singing with everybody right now. Great experience. Turn another corner and you might run into some social commentary. Another corner and you might find some live music. Signs like this one were helpful, just in case. but I couldn't always wait for a sign to tell me when to take a sweet photo. Just like here, with octopus and live squid. Kind of like the Red Lobster tank, except without the lobster. We finally made it to our last country on our visit to Asia. We entered the Smile Hotel in Osaka, Japan, and were greeted with, of course, smiles. We made fast friends at some of the local restaurants, where we, of course, had to get a photo, and found out what they do for parking when it's a little bit congested. We're getting a video of the turntable parking structure experience. This guy's going to pull in, and then his car is going to rotate 180, no, let's see, what would that be, 90 degrees, and then he's going to be shelved. His car is going to be shelved in this device here, this large cabinet, if you will. Meanwhile, our group is leaving us. Buddy! Okay, this is going to be super cool. Watch this. Okay, I'm going to stand over here. That car just got delivered. Watch this, watch this. Look at that! Look at the car, it's rotating. Look at that! Wow! It's just like a giant, like it looked like a chainsaw shape, and it's just on like a big, like just goes like this until you get the right car. That is so cool. Here we are at Smile Hotel. We're going to Osaka Castle.
It's like a Ferris wheel.
It's like a Ferris wheel. It's like 3 Ferris wheels in this cabinet. And that's how you store cars in Japan. After we caught up with the group, we made our way to Osaka Castle, where we got a 360-degree view of the entire city. It was a gorgeous place, and we made it just in time before they closed. There was also some nice nature around the area, as well as shops, and of course, more food. Next stop, Kansai University in Osaka. This was a great experience because not only did we get to talk with some of the administrators, but we also had to have lunch and socialize with some of the students from Kansai. Some of them brought translators to help us communicate, and some of them spoke great English already. Afterwards, we got together in small groups and discussed our cultures on a little bit of a deeper level. We created a poster as a team of things that kind of make us unique, but also things that overlap in our cultures, and we learned a lot from this experience. I think this is one of the highlights of the trip for me. This process was also helpful in applying my philosophy of higher education and student affairs in a global context. My philosophy is a cycle that revolves around attitude. And the cycle begins with a level of exposure, which leads to potential. And the increased potential allows you to make more choices, and more choices allows you to enhance relationships, which lead to more genuine exposure. When studying abroad, the level of exposure can drastically increase your potential, which increases your choices and allows you to form better relationships. And of course, the day would not be complete without food. We socialized with the local students and enjoyed their company, and of course, exchanged Facebook accounts. The next day, we hopped on a bus and headed down to Kyoto, Japan, where we explored some of the famous shrines and temples in the area. One of which is called the Golden Pavilion, another one the Silver Pavilion. If you've got extra change, you could toss some and try your luck at getting some luck. But who needs luck when you've got Colonel Sanders? So after a great time in Osaka and Kyoto, we made our trip to Tokyo, riding the Shinkansen, or bullet train.
Here comes the Shinkansen at 200 miles per hour through our station. Wow, we're on our way from Osaka to Tokyo. Here it comes. This video is in slow motion, just so you know. It's in super slow motion. Look at that fast pace. Wow, super fast.
That is the pace of fast.
Pace of fast. Awesome. Shinkansen, super slow motion video. It's actually going 100 miles an hour. Now it's slowing down to 50 miles an hour. Now it's coming to a stop now. It's now at 10 miles an hour. Now it's stopped. Sweet. Japan. Here we are on the Shinkansen, and we're going super fast. As you can see, this video is no longer in slow motion, and it's moving so fast that the picture is distorted. See that? Look how angled it is. See that? It's like, this is vertical here, and things are angled because it's moving so fast. My camera, my full HD camera can't even capture the awesomeness of the Shinkansen at full speed. I mean, look at these buildings like zip by. Probably going at least 1,000 miles an hour.
At least 1,000.
At least.
We survived the Shinkansen and made it to our hotel in Tokyo. There we gathered for our final dinner as a group where Dr. Longerbeam gave a good example of how to try something new.
Here we are. Here we are. And then I can take clips out of it. That is a squid. I caught that earlier in Tokyo Bay. There she goes. Our leader of our trip, one of our leaders, co-director. Willing to try anything.
Delicious.
A role model.
Do you like it? So good. Yeah, I did.
Are you going to say that when the video is done?
If you were to describe the taste in academic terms, what would you say?
Fishy.
Fishy, everyone. And thank you for trying that. I am very pleased. And here we have more food. What a great experience. Our final dinner here in Tokyo with NAU in Asia. Woo!
Well, she said it was good, so I thought I'd go for it. Over the next few days, we explored Tokyo and visited two great universities, Aoyama Gakuen University and Rikyu University in Tokyo. After traveling to all the different universities in Asia, we began to put together some of the differences between student affairs in the United States and student affairs over there. This photo illustrates how students would come up and ask a question at a student services department without going into an office like they might in the US. The campus environments themselves were beautiful. Even in central Tokyo, they had enough trees and green space, and it didn't feel claustrophobic. The students were friendly, the administrators were informed, and it was all around a great experience and great way to end the trip from an academic standpoint. If you haven't figured it out by now, I love food, and I love sushi. One place that I definitely wanted to go was a conveyor belt sushi restaurant, also known as Kaiten Sushi, but we didn't know how to get there. Luckily, we had met some students at Rikyu University who were able to show us the ropes.
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa! Konbanwa.
Konbanwa is good evening. Good evening. Good evening, viewers. Here we are on our first full day, right, in Tokyo, Japan. Wow, awesome. And we have two special guests with us here today. What are your names?
My name is Ayaka. My name is Mika. Nice meeting you.
And how awesome are you on a scale of 1 to 10?
10.
10.
10, definitely. 11.
11.
And how awesome is this restaurant on a scale of 1 to 10?
11.
11 also. Tell us why it's so awesome.
Because look at this train.
Okay.
There's a sushi train, and then there's
Sushi train.
high technique
Look at this
menu.
This is an iPad that you can click things and order things.
Yeah.
Now, we don't want to order something accidentally, so just hit the red button.
And on the table, we can make green tea.
Look at that.
And then there's a fountain here
Yeah,
that gives you hot and cold water, or just hot water?
Hot water.
Hot water.
Like here, like here.
Wow.
That is really cool. Unlimited green tea. Now, how much do you have to pay per cup?
Free.
Free? Oh my gosh. There's the sushi train. It just goes and stops wherever your table is. And this is the ongoing conveyor belt. It just runs.
Conveyor belt of awesome.
Conveyor belt. Now, what is this called? What's the conveyor belt called? Is it called kaiten? Kaiten sushi. So we have the different colored plates here, ranging from 105 yen to 525 yen. So that's like $1.
So that one's right there.
$1.30 to $7. And you have all different varieties of tasty, awesome sushi. And you just grab it, and then you save your plates, or you hide them. You just put them back on the conveyor belt. Nobody will ever know. And then you pay at the end for how many plates that you took, right?
Yep, that's true.
Great. And you're from what university?
We're Rikkyo University.
That's great. What is your mascot? Do you have a mascot?
Like an animal, or like
Like a warrior? Okay.
We don't have any.
So Rikkyo University needs to get a mascot. It should probably be the sushi.
It should be sushi.
The awesome
Rikkyo's
sushi.
mark here.
There it is,
Rikkyo
right there.
mark.
Very cool. And I'm going to say, before I even eat the food, that this is our best dinner experience yet. Very cool. Yay! Okay, sayonara. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. The food, the company, the conversation, it was all great. And we ended up going through 34 plates. We were thankful, but a little sad as we said goodbye to our friends from Rikkyo University. Our final day in Tokyo was, of course, filled with more adventures. We explored some of the local temples and shrines, as well as checked out the cuisine, went shopping, and noticed some signs that gave us a good warning for why not to feed the pigeons. As we traveled from place to place, we also discovered how the train system works in Tokyo.
Insane. Oh my god.
Here we go. I'm getting it on video.
Holy crap. What are we gonna do?
This is the Tokyo experience. Oh, yes! Oh, excellent. Spacious.
Just one stop.
Okay. Okay. Yep. Oh, plenty of room. Plenty of room, right, Lois?
I got you.
Jerry, how do you feel? Don't say
I'm-
anything sassy.
I'm feeling spacious.
They're perfect. Great. Feeling great. Feeling great.
Breathless.
It's the Tokyo
Do we have
experience.
enough air in here?
Hooray, we made it. Almost successful tourists. I got your back, Lois.
Say nothing sassy.
Nothing sassy's allowed. You ever seen sardines in a can? You ever seen sardines from the inside of the can? That's what it's like. A bustling shopping district in downtown Tokyo welcomes us with English writing and McDonald's signs. Another, more subtle welcoming comes from this torii, or gateway, into the Meiji Shrine in downtown Tokyo. As our final few hours in Tokyo came to a close, we stocked up on snacks for the long flight home, and some of us took a nap. Exhaustion was setting in after 2 very exciting weeks. There was definitely some mixed emotions in the Narita airport in Tokyo, as we were excited to go home, but sad to go. As I saw the plane pulling into our terminal, I reflected back on 2 great weeks spent in Asia. The program was fantastic, I learned a lot, and formed some excellent relationships. The self-awareness I gained will help me become a better professional and student in the future. I believe that going abroad and learning about other cultures innately has value, but there's also special value in how it's presented, and our faculty did a great job of showing us how to engage in a way that is deep, meaningful, reflective, and applicable to our careers and personal lives.
As a hall director, I feel I can better connect with some of the Asian students living in my building. Through the course content, I feel I can better understand them from an intellectual standpoint, but also from an emotional standpoint, having been to the culture and experienced some of the things they experienced every day. Even though it's a long way away, if you get the opportunity to travel to Asia, you should take it. And if you're a student watching this, you should definitely check out the Center for International Education and consider studying abroad. You'll learn more about yourself than you ever thought you could. So, as we come to a close, I hope you enjoyed the presentation. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to contact me. I hope to talk to you sometime soon. And thank you again for watching. Sayonara.